what we can do it. Laptop next to my water. That is an excellent idea. Hey guys, welcome to my channel and welcome back to all my subscribers. Today I'll be talking about how I switched my major and am now graduating early. So when I was in high school, my favorite class was genetics. I had a really awesome teacher and she was very sweet, and I was so interested in the class. So I knew from then that I wanted to be a genetic counselor when I grew up. I wanted to do research. I wanted to work with, newborn babies and, things like that. So when I went to college, I applied with the major being, depending on the school, because some schools don't have those majors, either genetics or biology or biochemistry. It was any of those three. The school that I go to now, the major that they offer is called cellular biology and genetics. So that was my major. But the thing is that I guess the how many people applied to that major was too large of a number, so they put me in the undecided category, and basically I had to take gateway courses to show that I was, capable of handling material that it took to be in that major. So basically I had to take these gateway courses in order to declare that major. I had to take a math class, I had to take a chemistry class, and I had to take a bio class. I took Calc 1. I did not do well in high school in calculus. If you guys watched my Get to Know Me video, you know the struggle that I had with calculus. I had good grades all throughout my other math classes except for when I got to calculus. So when I did calculus in college, it wasn't any better, but I did pass. I got a B-. But then I also had to take calculus 2, and that was a train wreck. I dropped it after the first lecture. I stopped going and I withdrew out of the class. Now I did that not because I wasn't good at it or because I didn't want to try, but I just wasn't interested in it. And not only was I not interested in calculus, but when I looked at the course plan that my advisor had laid out for me, all the required classes I had to take in order to get my degree, they had things like, biochemistry, they had like energetics chemistry, they had physics 1 and physics 2 and physics of the blood and like all these classes that I didn't necessarily want to do, because as far as I was concerned, I just wanted to be a geneticist. I just wanted to learn about genetics and genes and hereditary things and all that stuff. So to think like, dang, like I had to take physics for a whole year, and like I gotta do all these things just to get my degree, and like the thing that caught me was that in the full 4 years I was only required to take one genetics course. That just didn't line up for me. So that was first semester. I still completed all my courses, and technically I was ready to declare my major, but it was at that point that I realized that that may not be what I wanted to do. So then I went to my advisor again. I was like, yeah, I'm not sure, like maybe I want to do this, maybe I want to do that, I don't know. And I even talked to a friend of mine who recently switched out of cell bio also, and she was now a psychology major. So, I took psychology in high school too, and I was like, well, that was pretty interesting. Like, how do you like the classes here? Like, are they interesting? Do you love them? She was like, yes, like, I only took 2, and, they were great, and blah, 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 so interesting, and it's like there's science in it too, but you still get all the brain working components, and then also, like, with the genetics, and then all that stuff. So I was like, okay. So I was like, let me look into this. So in my second semester of college, I took the Introduction to Psychology course, and I loved it. I did very well in it, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna change my major. I'm gonna declare psychology as my major. What I really wanted to do was biopsychology, which is basically all the sciencey parts of psychology, but my school didn't offer that. They offered a Bachelor of the Arts or a Bachelor of the Science of Psychology, and basically what that means is that you either focus psychology on like the therapy and like the person type stuff, or like the science, the neuroscience, the anatomy, physio part of your body relating to psychology. So that's what I wanted to do. So I declared it. And basically, because I was taking that sciencey part, there were a few classes that I had to take relating to science. And it turns out that I had already taken them in my first semester. So that part of my degree was already fulfilled. I had basically already accidentally completed part of my degree. So when it came to the last 7 or 6 semesters of college, there was a lot more leeway in the classes I could take. For genetics, I had to take each of the classes that were laid out for me. In psychology, they basically give you a long list and they say, here, pick however many classes from this list. The ones that sound interesting to you, just take them. And they'd be like in categories. So like we could choose like 1 of the 10 in this category and 1 of the 10 in this category, etc. So at this point, I'm like, dang, like I can take everything that I want. Like I want to take that class on relationships. I want to take this class on specific biopsychology. I want to take this class on the science of anger. Like there were so many classes that I wanted to take that I was like, whoa, this is really interesting. So I went ahead and picked the classes that I want and set up my own 4-year plan, making sure that I had all my requirements out the way. And we also had these things called gen ed requirements, which I'm sure a lot of schools do. It's basically the foundation of classes that everybody has to take, everybody in order to graduate no matter what their degree is in. So things like that included, everybody has to take a natural science class, everybody has to take a humanities class, everybody has to take this, they put it in this category of classes where it's like debatable ethics stuff, everybody has to take that kind of class. And you're allowed to overlap them with your major. So for example, my intro to psych class is considered a history of social sciences class or something like that. And so it fulfilled my major requirement and my gen ed requirement at the same time. Now, this is where the plot twist is. When I completed my 4-year plan, I realized that so many of my I did it right. I did it right. This is what you're supposed to do. But I just went way right. All of my classes overlapped, pretty much. I was basically taking less classes and fulfilling the same requirements as everybody else. Most people, maybe like 25% of their classes are gen eds and 75% of their classes are major requirements. But for me, imagine that those 25% of gen eds also fulfilled psychology requirements. So when I did my 4-year plan, I did it so that I would have an elective like each semester so that I could take something also like on the side that I was kind of interested in, which didn't really work out because I was interested in all the psychology classes anyway. I didn't want to take anything else. And I realized that in my senior year, I was going to be working part-time or I could work part-time because I was only taking maybe 2 psych classes and then the rest of them were gen eds. So for the last 2 semesters, I would only be taking 4 classes total. So then I realized, well, I actually could take those 2 classes from the last semester and put them in the 7th semester. And then technically that last semester would be all elective, so I could just chill. But then I was like, wait a minute. I don't even have to take electives at all, because by then I would have already completed my degree requirements. I could graduate. So I'm thinking now, like, well, dang, like, am I about to graduate early? Like, is this a real thing? Like, this is something you hear, like, on TV or on the news, like, 7-year-old graduates college. So I was like, ooh, let me, like, talk to somebody about this. So at the beginning of my sophomore year, which is where I am now, I went to see my advisor, my new advisor, and I was like, I'm a little confused because I think I have extra space in my graduation plan. So we looked at it, and he was like, oh yeah, it seems like you have a lot of electives and you seem to have gotten a lot of your gen ed requirements out the way. And I was like, yeah, I think so. So like, what do you think I should do? And he was like, well, you can add a minor. Let's see what kind of minors we can do. And I was like, okay. So I was like, you know, I wanted to minor in Spanish and I wanted to minor in neuroscience because I thought that coupled well with psychology. And I also wanted to minor in human development, which was kind of like psychology, but also like children and like education and things like that. Why would he send me this picture? Guys, he's so ugly. Look at what my boyfriend just sent me. Can you guys see that? I hope you can see that. That's him on 2K. Okay, anyway. So I was like, okay, I think I want to do the human development minor. It sounds really interesting, blah, blah, blah. So I would be adding 5 classes into my 4-year plan. So I was like, okay, so that means that I'm back up to the credits that I need to, you know, graduate in 4 years, right? But here's the thing. A lot of those human development classes, again, cover gen eds. So I'm here like, okay, well, the gen eds that didn't overlap with psychology, now they overlap with this minor anyway. So really, I'm just replacing classes. I'm not adding any. So I was like, Doc. No, I was like, Sir, what do I do? Like, I'm still not at the 4-year mark. And he was like, just graduate early. And I was like, what you mean, sir? And he was like, you can definitely graduate a semester early because your last semester is completely filled with electives. You really don't need to take it. So then I was like, okay, but what about that 7th semester? By the way, when I talk about 7th semester, that's the first semester in my senior year. So I was like, what about 7th semester? And he was like, well, you're taking 3 classes, which is what I had. And he was like, why don't you stick them, you can either stick them on the end of a semester of your 3rd year, meaning that, let's say, instead of taking 5 classes one semester, I'll take 6. He was like, you could tag it on the end, which would give you a heavy semester, but still would fulfill. And he was like, or you could do summer or winter classes, which are not that bad because basically it's an accelerated program. You only have to be in school for like a month or so. So now it's like just hitting me that like I'm actually graduating early. Like I'm not spending 4 years at a 4-year institution. It's still crazy to me that I won't be graduating with my friends. I won't be graduating with my boyfriend. I'll be graduating the year after my sister starts college, which I always imagined graduating 2 years after she started. Like, this is what I've been thinking the whole time. Graduate at 22, you know, and now I'm going to graduate as soon as I become an adult. And so I basically finally accepted it in myself that I was going to graduate in 2018. And I should be happy about it, right? I should. But there's just something that's making me nervous and a little bit anxious and I guess just sad in a way because I feel like I'm missing out on something. I feel like there's something super special in that senior year of college that I'm going to miss out on. If I base it on how many years I spent, this is my 2nd year at the university, which means I'm a sophomore. However, when I think about how many credits I've earned, once you reach 30 credits, you're technically a sophomore. I came in the university with 15 credits from my high school, meaning that once I finished my 1st semester of freshman year, I had 30 credits, which means technically I was a sophomore. So right now I'm a sophomore, but in a couple months I'm actually going to be a junior, even though it's still my 2nd year. So I've been having like identity crises, thinking about how I'm not really a sophomore, but I'm not really a junior either, but I'm kind of both. And then in a couple months I'm going to be a junior, but I'm also going to be a senior because I'll be graduating. So it's just really wild. And, you know, I told people about it and I posted about it. And, you know, people are like, congratulations. And, like, people I haven't spoken to in years from, like, my elementary school are, like, saying, like, how lucky I am and how crazy it is that they get to know someone that's graduating early. And my mom's like, yes, you get to start your master's degree earlier and all these things. And it's like, wow, like, awesome. Like, I can get a job. I can work, blah, blah, blah. But it's like, I don't know, something is weird. Maybe it's just because I never dreamed about this or I never even thought it could happen. I never heard about it happening to someone. Like, let me know how you feel. Let me know what you think about people graduating early. And do you guys know anyone that's graduated early? And if so, like, can you, like, give me some feedback on, like, how they feel about it? And or maybe if they already did, what they went through. If they started their master's directly after, did they take a leap year? A gap year? A leap year. Yeah, I just want to hear it because I'm excited about it, but also kind of held back, and it's a done deal now. I'm definitely graduating in 2018, but it's just really wild, and I want to hear what you guys have to say about it. So, oh yeah, shout out to Allison for helping me put up this awesome backdrop. I had nothing to put this up, and she helped me out. So, by the way, thank you guys for like sticking with me throughout this whole like college move. It's been really crazy, as you can tell. So, and I also got a new computer and new editing software, and I gotta work with all that. So, like, just bear with me if you guys didn't read the description box in my last video. That's basically what I had said. So, thank you guys for listening, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.